Hello, everybody, and welcome to another complete catch-up. I'm joined with Lee Jones.
Afternoon.
Thinks he's the GOAT.
Is the GOAT.
Is the GOAT. So I haven't had a catch-up with Lee before. Obviously, he's been on a little bit of a journey this year with bringing in a very special little girl into the world. How's fatherhood?
Tiring.
Tiring,
But good.
but good. So when was she born?
11th of January.
11th of Jan. So you're well and truly into the crying phases?
She's all right, actually.
Changing nappies?
Yeah, done a couple of nappies. She's 8 weeks today, so
Oh.
she's quite old now. She's basically grown up.
And how's the other half doing?
All good.
Yeah?
Yeah, all good.
Nice. So on these catch-ups, obviously, we like to see what is going on in the world of Lee within Complete, and also, obviously, him himself and the journey that he is personally going on. So, I mean, we've had a little bit of a crazy start to the year, but some very special things have happened, as we said, and also looking at the junior, youth and college programme, which you're involved quite heavily in all three. We're going to start off with let's probably start off by speaking with something that happened more recently, which is the February half term, which was the Football Elite Week. We all know that our first Football Elite Week, which is a little bit different to any other camps that we used to run, started in October half term, which was started and created by Ben Hampton, the legend. But we had a very good February half term, didn't we?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I wasn't there for the whole time because obviously there's quite a lot going on. But the last couple of days were good. Buzzing.
So those that's Simon in the back room trying to put his input into his catch-up. He's just jealous he hasn't had one yet. So those Football Elite Weeks, we run them 3 times a year: October, February, and May.
Yeah.
May half term. They're designed very differently to not only camps that we used to run, but also I haven't really seen any camps out there football that have sort of had that sort of thing.
Something I would have loved when I was that age.
Yeah, so we done it a bit differently. So, like you said, you were involved in some of our junior and youth and our college stuff on the first few days, but it was a 4-day camp. First day, all the players got to value themselves player wise. We introduced what was called the Com Coins, and then we done a team seeding process on day 2, and then you joined us. I think
I was there for half of day 2, and then day 3 and 4.
And then day 3 and 4 is where it really started to get a little bit spicy, because the values of the players and the teams that were formed, they could go through transfers, which I found very enjoyable when I was there. There's some of the stuff that was online on Instagram, TikTok, were very funny. It did get quite competitive between some of the coaches, didn't it?
It did. Wouldn't have it any other way, though, to be fair.
But yeah, they were brilliant, and they're sort of aimed at from under 7s through to under 12. So that is what is our junior academy. So we got under 6s through to under 12. So all of the people that are in our junior academy that came into that, they were entitled to 50% discount, which is very helpful, especially this day and age. So, and then we obviously got to see a lot of other people as well. Some potential trialists that came in. Actually, we did get a few trialists from that. So the junior academy setup, where is it at now? Because it's been on a big journey, especially with you taking over the football coordinator. And where is it sort of going?
I think we're in a very good place. I think we're probably across the age groups, sort of all of the age groups. I think we're probably stronger now than we ever have been as a collective. We've got a couple of age groups that are really pushing on at the minute. Obviously, we play quite a few Friday friendlies. We're having quite a bit of success in those.
Yeah.
And obviously, they're always quite a good challenge. It's, my job to try and make sure that we're playing teams that will challenge us, but at the same time aren't too challenging, which I think is, personally for me, where I went wrong in my first sort of early doors of doing the coordinator role, because there were some times where we had Friday matches and we got absolutely thumped, and it's kind of neither team gets anything out of it. But no, we're in a much better place. And
just stripping that back. So obviously previously, before you took over that role, the junior academy program, they would train for an hour and a half a week with obviously the coaches within their age groups, and then we used to arrange the friendlies during the session time.
During the training times, yeah.
And then obviously taking on that role, we decided to open up a Friday night slot, which is where they can still train for an hour and a half a week, but it's like an additional game. It doesn't interfere with their grassroots coaching and stuff. What's it been like organising those games? Has it been easy, hard, trying to get teams to come in?
It's been pretty easy, to be honest. Most of it's been fairly easy. Obviously, we've had a couple of teams pull out and stuff, which can't be helped. Which, you know, puts me in a bit of a race against time to try and get other teams to come in.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's been too many weeks where we've been like gameless. And it's quite easy for me now because I've got quite a good bank of contacts just to, you know, fire some emails out, fire some texts out, and then get some games arranged.
And you try and like seed the games based on the sort of strength of the age group. So if you've got a really strong, let's say, under-9s team, you try and go out there and find like a stronger under-9s.
Yeah, so a lot of them are based against sort of academy setup similar to us. So level-wise is sort of similar.
Yeah.
But I know we've got, for example, in what certain age group, we've got nearly 20 kids. And obviously those kids are all very good, but within that group there are some that are higher than others. So it's about making sure that everyone gets game time, but when they do get their game time, it has to be, you know, beneficial for them. But like I say, I've got quite a big list of contacts to go through now, so it's relatively stress-free apart from when people cancel. But yeah, like I say, we haven't had many weeks where we haven't had a game, and now I think we're lucky enough when we don't have Friday games, we can just do in-house, and they're just as competitive like we did with the 8s and 9s just before half-term, which was very good.
Yeah.
Very good game.
So is there any ambitions to challenge the boys even further against other teams or anything like that?
So I think for me, I want us to get to the level that we can just go take any age group to a pro academy. So obviously you've got the Fulham links, Simon's got Portsmouth links. I think reaching out, I could easily get in contact with clubs like Reading and other local clubs like that. I'd like to be able to, you know, arrange games against those. I think a couple of age groups aren't far off being ready. Some still need some work. But eventually that's where I'd like us to get to. I'd like to be able to take teams down to Portsmouth, for example, and have some friendly games. And then
it's a good way to sort of showcase them as well.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? So
the ideal for us is, you know, for our kids to then push on further and get picked up by these pro clubs and, you know, go as far as they can within the game.
And it's like
we just want to help them. So
sort of their first stepping stone into it. So just to obviously look at that junior academy setup, and if I didn't know anything about the programme and I was keen to bring my son or daughter along to one of these sessions, I can go online and I can book for a trial. Obviously, is it a week trial, 2-week trial that they normally get, or does it flex between the two?
It varies. It used to be 2 weeks, but after 1 week we can often tell, you know, whether it's a yes or a no. Sometimes it's harder, and we do, you know, we can offer that 2 weeks. Which we have done to a couple of people this year. But more often than not, you can sort of tell within one session whether they're ready or they're not. And like I say, we do have the flexibility for the 2 weeks, which we have used a couple of times.
Yeah. And then obviously the procedure of like, yes, you've been accepted into that, and you go through setting up online, getting on program, understanding the full program. If on the initial stage, maybe they're not quite at that level, obviously, we know honesty is the best policy to explain that, you know, for them personally, it might not be the right environment for them to be in. What's the contingency for those? Because obviously, we're sort of known for trying to be inclusive of a lot of different abilities and age groups. So what's the plan for those?
So we're starting a new session, which will be called our Aspire session. Because, you know, we've had this chat previously, and we had these kids at trial, and then, you know, they don't quite join the academy, don't quite make it in, and then we kind of lose them. So we've put this session in. It will run on a Friday, just an hour, 5 till 6, and it's basically going to be for those children that want that football, they want that coaching, but they aren't quite there technically or physically for the academy. And the idea is that then we can then leave them in there, you know, build them up, progress them up, and then push them in for another trial. If they do another trial and they don't make it and they're still not quite there, they stay in that session. But obviously the idea is then to feed them through and keep going that way, to try and push numbers in the academy as well.
So there's quite a few levels to it, which is great. That's obviously going to be a new centre starting on a Friday night. I think it's going to be live as of next week.
Yeah, looking to start from next week. I've got a couple interested. I've got some emails I need to send out as well. But it's going to be quite different to a normal session. So there'll be no match play or very, very limited match play because it's going to run from under 7s to under 12s as one group. So the coaches will obviously match sort of individuals against individuals within that group, but it's going to be making sure that they're ready physically and technically. So as opposed to a normal session where there's, quite a lot of tackling, quite a lot of match play, this is going to make sure that they're, up to speed physically. Are they, the technical skills, the ball mastering, bits and pieces like that.
And sort of like getting an understanding what the demands are going to be when they move into the junior academy sessions. Okay, that all sounds very promising, and it's a good pathway for them. Obviously, now they get to under 12s, and they're finishing their final year at under 12s. The youth academy set up. So that's from 13s all the way through actually to under 18s. So currently this season, what teams do we have and how does that programme run a little bit differently to the junior academy?
So we've got this year an under 13s, under 14s, 15s, and then your 18s. So we've got 4 teams, which is different. We had 2 last year. So obviously I run the 13s, Simon does the 14s, Rich does the 15s, and you do the 18s.
Yeah.
It's different in the sense that they can train twice a week, so an hour on Tuesday, hour on Thursday, and then the game on Saturday. There's different price plans, 3 different price plans, and then obviously each plan includes different features, such as training kit and bits and pieces like that.
Yeah.
But rather than it just being friendlies like the junior academy, this is when they'll start playing in leagues. So I think my guys are in Div 3 with this their first season in the North East Hants. I think Simon's guys are Div 1. Rich's are the Prem and you guys are the Div. I think your youth Div 1 or Div 2.
I think it's Div 2 because Div 1 is the top one. Yeah.
So it's then where it gets a bit more competitive. Not necessarily focused on results more, but you add that sort of dynamic in where you're not you are playing for fun. I don't want to say you're not playing for fun because obviously you're playing for fun, but the way I explained it to my under 13s is you have more fun when you're winning. So you have the league to look at and bits and pieces like that, which again a lot of them enjoy. But yeah, I mean personally for me it's been a bit of a roller coaster of a season, but it's always going to be tough when you got a new team.
Yeah, I mean it was the same for me when we took this step forward. So I started an under 13s team. It was actually on the back end of having a chat with just one parent and one boy that didn't have anywhere to go at under 13s. And the good thing is going into under 13s on your final year of under 12s when you're playing 9-a-side and you go to 11-a-side, most of the time at clubs teams merge together. So there's going to be loads of players and a lot of players sort of drop off. So I thought if I open up a team at under 13s, I'm going to be taking players from they don't have a club potentially to go to, and obviously trying to attract some good players to it. So with that, it was it's quite. I think with the training side of it, when you get that time of either a session or 2 sessions, previously when we've done older age groups, there's not a time for us to actually show that within matches. So having the matches at the weekend, we can identify things on Tuesday, Thursday that we want to work on, then put it into practice for the games. And as you're getting older, everything gets a little bit more competitive. All the divisions that we've got, so if you're in Div 3 and like Rich is in the Prem and I'm in like Div 1, obviously we've got to make sure that the players are of that sort of standard level to be able to compete.
Because we're still focused on player development. That's kind of the number one thing. I mean, not one of our priorities. No one's focused on, right, we have to win the league or we have to get in the top 4 and bits and pieces like that. It's player development, player enjoyment. I mean, if the players are enjoying it, we're enjoying it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very important that we need to make sure that players are playing at the right level for them. And again, like you said, honesty is the best policy, and I think we're very open with that as a company, to be honest.
And I think the other thing so this is, we're affiliated with the FA. We've got the club is down as Complete FC. Something that is very attractive to parents and players from potential other grassroots clubs that are local to us is, we're independent coaches. So we're not parents of the children. and all of us being qualified in our profession and doing this as a full-time job, it has become quite attractive to a lot of people that are going to join or have joined. So I think that's been a massive benefit to us. And then you've got the added stuff of our, we're quite heavy on our social media.
Yeah.
We video the games and things like that, and the online stuff that we've been doing with them has been great. So I think that's at a really good place. I don't know. Obviously, at the moment, you've got a great group of coaches with the Football Academy that you do a great job with. I don't know whether your aspirations of maybe trying to replicate the youth into the junior team-wise long term, or are you sort of happy with where your junior academy is at the moment?
I think long term it would be great. I think for us to be able to have a team sort of maybe starting from sevens and going all the way through to 18s would be unreal. I don't know if there's many clubs that have teams going all the way. But obviously that requires a lot of staff, a lot of coaches. So that is one that's very much for the long term. I think it'd be a case of drip feeding it in. So eventually we'd go from, instead of 13s, we'd maybe try one at 12s, or even if we start early and we go from 13s, but then we have a 7s nice and young, and then you try and drip feed them in like that. But like you say, that'd to take quite a lot of staff. But yeah, long term, I think it'd be great. I think in an ideal world, we'd have a facility which if we had a big clubhouse, loads of pitches, like that for me would be unreal. I think.
So do you
a lot of money required. But
are you looking for more coaches at the moment, football wise?
I think junior academy wise, I think we've been quite lucky because we've had quite a few of our older players in the 14s and 15s doing their like D&V, so they need to do some coaching hours and stuff. Without any disrespect to them, I think we do need maybe a couple more sort of qualified coaches in there, just because the numbers now are getting quite big. And in an ideal world, it'd be great for the youth academy teams to have like an assistant. I think that's something maybe we've struggled with a little bit this year. Is that some games we're going to, and for example, I went to one not long ago, and it was me by myself with the boys, and then I looked down the sideline, the other team got 3 coaches. So things like that. It'd be nice.
So potential part-time work available out there for anyone. And what you're looking for, level 1, level 2 sort of coaches wise that potentially might be interested.
Level 1, and if they're willing to go on their level 2, fantastic. But just showing interest. I mean, if someone came to me and they said they didn't have those qualifications, however, they had a background of football and they were keen and they wanted to get into it, then it's not like I'd immediately turn them away. We'd obviously have to consider them. But it'd be nice to be able to have like 2 coaches per age group in the junior academy. I think that would help us quite a lot. Like I said, especially with our Monday night sessions. So we've got the under 6s, 7s, 8s and 9s. They're getting quite busy. So it'd be great for us to be able to...
we have had quite a few of the college boys in the full-time college program that have come through and started doing some stuff, which was great. And so if there's any part-time coaches out there, they're looking for some work, you've got a job and you're looking to get in some coaching, get in touch with us. I think, so I did mention obviously about us being independent coaches running the sides, but also another thing, which is why you couldn't be at the Football Elite Week the whole time, is during the half terms and some of the holidays, part of the package is for the youth and the junior academy teams to come and train with us.
The training day.
Free of charge. But they're great, like the social side of it, boys getting together or players getting together. And it's that team bonding, it's working on, a few things for the matches that are coming up, but they've been really successful, and, it's good when they're all there and they're all wearing the kit and they're all feeling a part of it. And it's a great addition to the programme, I think.
They're fun as well for the coaches. Don't mind getting the boots on at those, to be fair. They're a good laugh.
And then obviously progress from, the youth academy setup is to then go into obviously the full-time college program, which we will speak about on a separate occasion, I think. But obviously that's going very, very well. You're heavily involved with that. And it's just a great pathway. Went through it yourself. So it's a great pathway from sort of the kickers, which are 4 or 5 year olds, all the way through till sort of the late teens, like the 19-year-olds. But we'll speak about the Football Academy programme at another time. But so far, it's the Football Academy is definitely doing something a little bit different out there. getting some great results in all the player development that we're doing. So you're doing a great job with that. I'm looking to see how it's going to grow. I appreciate your time with me at the catch-up.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, bro.